Hi guys, super cool to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm doing this early. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. If you'd like a reading, if you're here, a live session, let me know. Everything's in the caption below. Okay, so because I'm doing this early, I feel this is going to be really helpful. So first of all, reality checks and realizations. We just had a full moon in Sagittarius last night, and now it is the 18th, and we're going to build up this incredible vortex of truths that is going to really come to an ending and a beginning for many of you guys. And I feel that for me, I'm seeing an eclectic reality come together into oneness. So what we need to do is, if you can, please stop what you're doing, stop trying, stop plugging, stop making the same mistakes over and over. We had 7 years or so to really find our difference and to really do things perhaps very cleverly and very uniquely, and to really develop or establish ourselves as individuals and find new types of progress for ourselves and our people, and the planet, through doing something very unusual. So ascension was really quick and very also strong in the last 7 years. We could have walked over people, we could have done many things, we could have just run away, we could have torn up our realities and made new realities, and we never really had to do that. But for some of us, it has been the time of our lives to really get ourselves legit as people and to scream out those words that we never perhaps fully wanted to voice. On the other hand, we also could have made a lot of mistakes and connected to many things that perhaps were not really ours to connect with. It was an interesting time of illusion, delusion, and truthful seeking, and helping one another through extroverted or extreme ways. But by now, it feels to me, as we're in a very sensitive time, it would be so good to just relax, calm down, and see what the world has become. It is so great to see the global all. It is so nice to treat everybody as part of each other. To now understand that there is no difference actually between certain things. There's no need for that spike or that aggressive edge. We don't need to be super competent and competitive and fully force ourselves out of ourselves and make believe. Now is the time basically to see what's real and what is getting you there. Because by now, Pegea has created a very interesting slip and slide momentum that is almost like standing on one of those travelators. You know, those travelators that you get at airports. You just stand there and the ground moves underneath and it gets you to the next dimension. The thing here is not to run. It's like not to hide, not to push anybody over. It's also not so good to try and suddenly emotionally seek out that biggest next thing. I mean, for some people, there's going to be massive fines, and they already are almost there or starting to come to the surface. Some of these treasures have been there for a long time. Some of these vibrations have already been there waiting for them. It's like the treasure has been buried and they kind of buried it themselves, or their ancestors have buried it for them, or just so came to be that they came upon a find. But to scrutinize yourself, to push yourself to pieces, to try to rip yourself apart, to make news, to make a brand new adventure, to be like that number one right now, even though we're in a cardinal sign of Cancer from the 22nd of June, it is just dark, it is hard, and it could actually lead you away from the most precious and simplest things in your life. So please, I know this might actually sound very boring to you right now, but try to accept those people that are reaching out. You might already have debunked them. You might already have debunked the way that you're staying, where you're staying, how you're living, what you're doing. You might already be in a state of debunking yourself. And you could also have already debunked anything that you've been paying attention to. And all those things that perhaps felt relevant and interesting to you years ago, or even just a month ago, now perhaps don't look as shiny. And also for some of us, we are trying to find the taste, we're trying to touch on that feeling, but it's almost not available or just not important now where that is or how it used to be. So we got a center point focus shift. So we got a different type of center, and energetically this has been a very, very kind and humble year actually to shift when you're ready and as much as you're ready. So it's not really at all about ripping yourself up to pieces. It's not about rinsing yourself out and doing it all over again. It just does feel to me that it's already kind of yours and it's kind of there, and everything is just waiting for us to just assume our places and be fine with that. So if you are a evolved person through ripping yourself to shreds and pushing yourself around and trying 1,000 different things every time you want to do something, and if you put a lot of effort into making things work, or you just work a lot on yourself or on other people or just in reality, there needs to be some kind of a time that you spend on your own. And also please involve prayer, meditation, maybe also crying or just releasing of emotional states, because it feels to me that we are now kind of meant to just turn towards that which is just there and just accept how you are, how I am, how they are, how everything has sort of placed itself. It's more like a snow globe was shaken for many years and now it's still, and all the little flakes just have to settle. You know, you don't have to shake the snow globe again. It's just, you just let it be. It's a very zen time. And it also feels to me a very calm and comforting time where you can just sit there and watch things develop. So it's like being on a travelator in the airport. It's like you just stand there, you don't have to scramble. You shouldn't need to push anybody to the side. You shouldn't need to argue with anybody else. Rage, anger, frustration, violence, and greed take a very, very fast turn during this time. I believe that a lot of us might, though, accidentally at least once, ruffle somebody else's feathers or create hullabaloo, simply because there is a sense of this North Node in Cancer at the moment, actually, this opposition to Saturn Pluto, that we're missing out. We're missing out. We don't have what we wanted. We employed the wrong energies. We've been employed by the wrong energies. Nothing fits. You know, that feeling like nothing fits. I made the wrong choice. I have devolved. You know, like, oh my gosh, last 6 months I've wasted time. I'm not me. I'm not seen, I'm not given, I'm not wanted, I'm not realized, I'm not full. And for these people who are not feeling gorgeous, for the people that are not feeling pleased and kind, I feel there's going to be lots of people, lots of adventures, and lots of life education on the rougher side. So it's very easy to get into a whirlwind that actually develops into a very difficult pattern. There's been like a pattern for this whole year, but I think there's going to start to return as like a big deal sort of thing. It's like once you're in the vortex of negativity and curiosity, like that is just taking you out of your body, it was making you angry, nervous, or sensitive. Once you're in this really dark vortex, things can happen, like you can lose things, you can miss things, people walk out, doors slam. And yes, one of the greatest things that you can actually do during this time is just release that sensitivity, basically, that makes you believe that you are not there, that you're not competent, that you can do many times better, that somebody else has got your person, somebody else has got your place, somebody's stealing your time, you're somehow vulnerable or vulnerabilized by society, or by this like life education. So the thing here basically you have to do is, if you are very prone to getting stressed out and freaked out by the world, is to basically take care of yourself in such a way where you subdue and allow yourself to find peace and reflection in one another. It's like find the affirmative factors, and there are plenty in the world outside of yourself. So you might just walk into a situation and people compliment you or suggest to you that you're doing well. Try to seek out those things, especially if you're a very negative person and you're prone to negativity as kind of like a side effect of your psyche. It would be so nice to actually start to multiply the positive factors. and try to keep in mind all of these realities, all these people, all these situations that are affirming to you and that are conforming also, maybe, or helping you conform or affirm in a very nice, simple way. And why that is because we are not meant to be sticking out like a sore thumb forever. There are certain vortexes in people's lives, and there also are certain charts of the individual to an extreme. And sometimes you will be asked to, even if you're not one of those people usually, to really associate just with yourself or what you feel is your individuality and go forward with that. But it feels to me that at this point in time, the most humble, the most conformist in a sense, or affirmative, and just comfortable energies and layers of reality are going to be one of the best sources of nourishment, one of the best sources of income, one of the best sources of connection, forgiveness, love, peace, and kindness, just so that we can all be together here on the same vibrational platform. And then through that, we'll find a simulation and situations of connection instead of those of disorder. Because some of us do have to eventually walk out of that and find something new. There are some people that are put together, sewn together as great missionaries or great kind of like politicians or like prolific minds that can't stick around for too long. So that is going to happen again. If you've got itchy feet already, don't push it, don't force it. But without this connectivity and this humble sort of integration into what process that is taking place during this time, and whatever kind of things that are taking care of you or that are taking care of one another during this time, I feel if you integrate, you will find that the next level of growth that you choose, even though you might be a prolific creator, even though you might be very extraordinary, very individualistic person, that will be much better if you can just sink into this energy and just allow it to kind of be with you, to connect, and also to conquer some parts of you that are sticking out for no reason. So also this is another thing, the rebel without a cause, the rebel without a clue, the person that just rebels as a side effect of themselves. And also there are lots and lots of people perhaps that have millions of different impulses and also nervous disorders that are placing them into difference on purpose, and the point of that difference is often lost or is muffled. And yeah, we can have like thousands of creative upon thousands of creative ideas coming through each person, but those might not be as strong or as robust or as doable in the 3D as manifestable because they are not sound. And that means that we need time of year like this for some people, or time of life, where it's like you eat and you integrate and you sort of meditate and you enjoy this humility, enjoy this silence, or like this tastiness that I believe July can provide on whatever level you have found it. And then through this simplicity, through this simple cycle of just doing and doing and doing the same thing, or enjoying a similar type of crowd, or creating in the same type of rhythm, you will, I feel, become more mature, more sound, however old you are and however eloquent you are, it doesn't matter. More sound and more connected and more prolific later in time, because we are going to have huge hops in reality. I mean, in December we're going to have a huge gap, we're going to have a huge push towards something really, really radical. But during this particular time, we're not really asked to embody radicalism, and unfortunately it is all inside of us, and it's all kind of like stirring up the storm, as Jupiter is truly at its probably most highest, most eloquent state at the moment that it's been for a while. So it feels to me like we've actually seen the face of ourselves, and maybe we've seen many different parts of ourselves that have been pushing us towards different things, and we might have found that we conform to a human or situation or organization or reality without needing to, or that we've actually on the opposite scale missed out and we ran away because we didn't feel we were ready when we were nothing but ready, nothing but real. So the thing here is basically not to organize yourself based on previous karmic deeds, feeling vulgarity, feeling dirty, feeling uncomfortable where you are, wanting to run away, wanting to change things very fast. I would also suggest already by the 22nd of June to really start and kind of eat through it. It's like enjoying the hummus. It's like enjoying like the nurture, and it's like the goopiness and the gooiness that this Cancer time in the pig year, goopy upon goopy time, is going to provide. If you got everything you need, especially if you are homed, if you are fed, if you have somebody to hold you, if you've got somebody to talk to, if you've got somebody close and nearby, and if you have like pets and family and friends and things that are just kind of warm, even though you want to do twice as much for your career, even though you feel you need 3 times the money you have, try not to go into that mechanical sort of political greedy feeling about your life, how you invest, what you do. All of these things, all these harsh corners, I feel will solve themselves if you just kind of take in, and not just take in, it's kind of like integrate. If you can imagine cells and skin, how they all sort of connect and they talk to each other and they make this beautiful life together. That's kind of what we're doing here. So we have skin month and year of skin, basically. You've got pig and Cancer. It is so nice to just try and integrate. Who's next to me? Where am I needed? Where am I invited? What responds to me? And then this becomes really, really clear and organic. Like this mirroring, this reference of one another, this nice kind of like awakening into the echo of things, and no longer having to pursue, to push, to delegate, to conquer, to conquest, to dig in. Wait, that's mine. Wait, I want that. This is for me. Like all of that stuff has to eventually be broken down. And the wiser people, I believe the wisest of us, will just start to gently sync up to that wave that everything is one. Just this whole thing is just one thing. This whole world is just one world. We're going to just start to realize that we're not just like these speckled things, that are annoying each other. We're just in this one kind of web. It's like we're cells and skin, and we can't be without one another. And we're all here for a reason. It all works in a very beautiful celestial way. So trust. I've mentioned the word trust a lot in the 2019 almanac, actually. Trust. Just kind of circulate with those things that are here and helpful for you. Buy and purchase things that are just natural and normal for you. You don't have to be suddenly like peeking out, suddenly waking out of your life into a different life. You can, if it is timed. For a rare individual, you might be discovered, you might be proposed to, you might have a completely new platform coming. You may also have like a whole new feeling about you, and there is like a big time change. There are those people, but please don't try and hurt yourself trying. So this is not about, wow, I've seen this person say, benefit, this person found money, this person won a lottery, this person met their husband, this person did this. It's kind of like we're still looking around to see who's got what, and we think, it's mine, it's for me. That's nobody's, it's just happening. So basically it's really important here to cultivate trust. Water therapies, hydrotherapies, anything from colonics actually, to swimming in a tank, to sensory deprivation tanks, to baths, spas and saunas. Just relax, study water. If you are really confused, you have no idea what's going on, you're afraid, you feel naked, you feel cold, you feel abused, you feel like someone's taken something from you, especially if you feel somebody went ahead and helped themselves to something of yours, all of that, you just need to relax. And it's like jello, just feeling this feeling of things moving by themselves. Also, another one thing that is very interesting actually, and it's very true to me, I feel, and I've been waiting for a time like this in my life. This July provides a corridor of doors, and one of the luckiest things that I've ever seen in my life is this phenomenon. And it's so good that it all works like that now. So this is how it feels to me, this energy during this time. I can tell you like what it feels like, but I can't, how can I say, tell you what to do there. All I can say is you relax and you just walk into the next door. For example, you get a client or you get a situation, you get an email, you get a phone call, you get a friend, you need to go to the shop, you're going to the gym. You're walking through the door. And as you look at this space or this phenomena that you're experiencing, this reality you're experiencing, you kind of don't have to twist and turn it. You don't have to scrutinize it. You don't have to critique it. It's so easy to critique and scrutinize everything during July. Always Cancer month, like scrutiny, critique. No. You just walk in, you kind of see things how they are. And the thing here is to relax. Anything it is, it doesn't matter if you've been offered like a big job, or if you're walking into your grandmother's house again and she's not well, it doesn't mean anything. So these realities are amazing during this time. And as you just walk in and you sort of passively gaze and you smile innocently, without needing to pressure anybody or anything in this life, in this reality, and not to ask, you don't need to push anything, don't push any buttons. You just walk into reality as if a movie set. You will see there's going to be another door, and that door directly leads to another door. And also realities, this is amazing. This feels so good. They kind of escalate, and how things happen, they don't have to happen for as long or as much as usual. So perhaps before it took you 2 years in a certain reality to understand it and then to conquer it, and after you conquer yourself within it, you get a new door into a new reality. That's not asked of us now, and it actually hasn't been for a while, and I'm sort of just starting to understand this has been the case for me as well. It's coming to a head, it's coming to a peak. So here you are, basically you walk into reality. You don't need to judge the reality or taste it or try it or put it on. If you don't really like anything there, if it doesn't speak to you, especially if you're kind of feeling bland about it or feeling like it's normal and it's already been had, like you've already had it, because future, past, and Cancer is one. And then you kind of see there is a shining door. It's like somebody else calls you, you have to leave, or like somebody pulls you up, or something happens. Just enjoy this corridor of realities, because I believe, and this is massive, that in July, like June, July, like as we start Cancer, I feel that we're going to start to walk through this corridor of just endless possibilities onto that which is actually truly ours, and we can fully feel joy in. If you aren't yet feeling the complete sense of joy, and if you don't feel that much happiness usually, please don't count on me or anybody else to help you feel that happiness. The thing here is to basically walk through these experiences and get to the point where you don't actually have any reaction to anything at all. You just let yourself be almost like on a slide, which eventually does bring you to a nice state of happiness. It will all be fine in the end. Everything is beautiful, nothing ends badly, and it's just about that. It's like developing faith, developing culture, developing kindness, developing new strategy socially or practically, becoming less abrupt, becoming less energetically angry or angular, being less possessed or possessive over things and other people, being less obsessed about details and information, beginning to be a lot less biased or interested in certain outcomes, and trusting, this is important, unbiasedly trusting that who you are is resembled in what you have around you, and each condition you have in your life is just a mirror of those you have in you. And this basically brings me to the next little thing, is your physical form. Are you tired? Are you upset? Are you sleepy? Are you vulnerable? What is the physical 3D form connecting to? What are you eating? How are you doing? And then trying to no longer push other people about, making a stance, giving yourself this huge public presence when you perhaps actually inadvertently inside are not quite connecting to you. So this is like basically being lovelier to yourself and kinder to other people. And then like say the voices in your head or the situations that are pushing you in all these different directions, and the lack of trust or the lack of commonality, or like the lack of universality, or just unison, like the lack of harmony, basically, the lack of kindness, like the lack of obviousness that perhaps you might have, as we all perhaps will need to face any type of lack like this. We'll need to start to no longer be a mystery. So we're kind of like becoming unmysterious to ourselves, during this time. It's like we don't actually have to push or prod ourselves together anymore. And I hope you don't have to lie about who you are to get, people to see you, to get a person to intimately connect with you, to feel like you deserve something. Intimacy, being intimate, should be a no-brainer. By the end of the month, it feels to me is just about accepting and moving, and letting this very actually surprisingly quick slip and slide phenomenon just take you there. You don't have to rush, you don't have to push. The less you push onto people, the better. If you push, that creates momentum, and then you're there fighting, when you could have just like released and slid off and into a new world. It's like you meet somebody, you're dating them the first time, they get on your nerves. Just enjoy the feeling. They're a reflection of who you are. And then maybe in a month you might find something much, much better, more suitable. It'll all kind of slip and slide together. You don't need to pleasure yourself through anger. So some of us have done this for a long time. We fought ourselves silly as a pleasure cycle. And there are some people that feel a lot of pleasure and love and connection with others if they get to discuss terrible, horrible things, or they find a negative topic to find commonality on, like a commonplace topic. Of course you hate that. I hate that. We both hate it, Wow, we both hate. It's like an army. It's like I'm anti this and you anti this, and we're together, we're both anti. You don't need to be anti. You didn't even ever need to be or pro, anti or pro. Positive or negative. It's just mainly just about acceptance, because nothing is. And then on some level it feels to me that your journey will start to believe itself different. So the organic reality checks, the expansion can't be helped. By this time perhaps this Jupiterian energy and innocence isn't actually as fun as it was at the beginning. So by now it's maybe not about getting your book published or getting that big idea through, or like making that money, or like meeting that person. By now it's actually about gently and subtly letting life smarten you up and bring more and more maturity out of you, or help you see or realize how you are and who you are. It is not a dark time, but I believe it is a very, very enormous energy for people that think they know and that we can't do. Here it's like it'll take care of itself for you. It's like most of these processes will just happen by themselves. Don't fight it. It's also with Pluto retrograde, I talked about this a while. Lots of things happen not out of spite, not out of some kind of weird universal game or joke. It's like there's no joke. It's just the energy sort of starts to want to help itself through us. So what I mean, the energy of this whole world, this matrix that we live in, is kind of healing its own self, and we are just part of it. We are just the integral process that it takes for it to heal its own heart, in a sense, as we walk out of Cancer and into Leo. So that's the thing, basically allowing this world to make creation through you. So it's not like it's you and him and her. It's nothing personal. It's not personal. It's like it's creating itself through us. So it's not our fault. It's not making us. The universe is not guiding you. You're all part of it. Nothing is up there protecting you or making you or helping us or anything, or joining people together or breaking them up. Thank you so much for connecting, everyone. So that was the July report. If you'd like to know more about me, if you'd like to know more about you, if you'd like to connect, if you'd like a reading, if you'd like to have a look at my books, if you'd like to check out more information on Patreon, you're more than welcome to. And I'll see you next time. Bye.